There's a specific kind of loneliness that has nothing to do with being alone. You can feel it at a party. At a dinner with people who love you. In the middle of a conversation you're actually part of. Everyone is right there. And somehow, you're not. If you've ever felt that, felt like there's a pane of glass between you and the rest of the room, this video is about why. And it's probably not what you think. I'm the voice of shadow and self. I read the psychology so you don't have to, and I tell you the parts about yourself most people would rather not say out loud. So let's say them. The first thing to understand is this: the loneliness you feel in a crowd is not a signal that something is wrong with the room. It's a signal that something inside you is not being seen. And here's the uncomfortable part. Usually, it's not being seen because you're hiding it. Carl Jung had a name for the version of you that other people get to meet. He called it the persona. The mask. It's not a bad thing, everyone has one. It's the polished, agreeable, acceptable self you wear to move through the world. The version that says, "I'm fine," on reflex. The version that laughs at the right times and never says the heavy thing out loud. The problem is what happens when the mask gets too good. Because if the person in the room is the mask, then when people accept you, you don't feel it. You can't. They're not accepting you. They're accepting the performance. And some quiet part of you knows the difference. That's the glass. That's the distance. You are in the room, but the real you never showed up. Think about the last time you felt truly seen by someone. Not admired. Not liked. Seen. I bet it was a moment when you let something true slip out, something a little unflattering, a little raw, and instead of pulling away, they leaned in. That's the paradox almost nobody tells you. We believe the mask protects us from rejection. But the mask is exactly what guarantees the loneliness. You cannot be loved for a self you refuse to show. So why do we do it? Why do we keep the realest parts hidden, even from people who've earned our trust? Jung would point to the shadow. The shadow is everything about yourself you've decided is unacceptable: the anger, the neediness, the envy, the parts of you that don't fit the image you're trying to project. You don't delete those parts. You can't. You just push them down into the dark and hope no one notices. But they don't disappear. They wait. And the energy it takes to keep them hidden, that's exhausting. That's the heaviness you feel halfway through the evening. You're not tired of the people. You're tired of guarding the door. Here's what I want you to sit with. The people who feel most alone in a crowd are very often the people who are the best at being in a crowd. The good listeners. The easy ones. The ones who make everyone else comfortable. They've gotten so skilled at managing the room that they've disappeared into the role. Their whole identity becomes the function they serve for other people. And a function is not a person. A function cannot be loved. It can only be used, and even when it isn't being used, it feels like it could be at any moment. If that landed a little too precisely, you're not broken. You learned this. Somewhere, probably young, you learned that the real you was too much, or not enough, and that the mask was safer. It was a smart adaptation. It protected a child. But you're not that child anymore. And the thing that protected you then is the thing keeping you lonely now. So what do you actually do about it? You don't rip the mask off in the middle of the party. That's not courage, that's a breakdown. The work is quieter than that. It starts with one honest question, asked of yourself, in private: what part of me am I not letting anyone see? Not the answer you're supposed to give. The real one. The envy you pretend you don't feel. The need you're ashamed of. The opinion you swallow. The grief you've decided is inconvenient. You don't have to show it to the world tomorrow. You just have to stop hiding it from yourself. Because every part of you that you can finally look at without flinching is a part that no longer has to be guarded, and that is energy that comes back to you. That is one less pane of glass. And then, slowly, with the people who've earned it, you let one true thing out. Not everything. One thing. You say the heavy sentence instead of, "I'm fine." You let someone see a seam in the mask. And you watch what happens. Most of the time, the people worth keeping lean in. That's how the glass starts to come down. Not all at once. One true thing at a time. The loneliness in the crowded room is not a life sentence. It's a message. It's the part of you that was never allowed in the room, asking, finally, to be let in. The work of a life, Jung believed, is to stop performing the self and start becoming it. He called it individuation. A long word for a simple, terrifying thing, letting the real you exist out loud. You can start tonight. Quietly. With one honest question. I'll be here for the next part of it. This is Shadow and Self. If something in this found you, stay a while, there's more.